Assalamu alaikum students. Today we'll discuss reading strategy. It's the dream of every student to be a good student in terms of grades and learning. And every good student is a good reader as well. Are you aware? If you are not aware, today you will realize that in order to be a good student, in order to be a good learner, you have to be a good reader as well. So today we'll see how to be a good reader. Thinking about how you read. So we'll focus upon certain things which we can do in order to be a good reader. Okay, metacognition, thinking about how you think. Before you can truly improve your reading skills, you need to understand what happens in good readers' mind while they read. You may even do these things already, you just don't know it yet. So actually, a good reader is not a born good reader. The way people learn skills, rest of the skills through practice. Similarly, a good reader always learns good reading skills, good reading strategies, and that's why the reader is a good reader. A bad reader, on the other hand, is bad because perhaps that reader is not following those strategies which are being followed by the good reader. So we'll see that what goes into the mind of the good reader. Absorbing information like a sponge. I think each one of you want to absorb the information just like a sponge, particularly keeping the context of semester system where you have to take a lot of subject in one semester, a lot of quizzes, a lot of assignments, and the time is short. Each one of you want to perform in the best possible manner, but in reality what happens that most of the time students don't come up to their own expectations just because shortage of time. They don't have too much time to read. So we'll see what can we do in order to absorb more information, in order to gain more information in less time. You must have seen many cases around you where some of the students might be giving less time to their studies, but they are performing much better in terms of grades and in terms of learning. But then there is another category of students who are spending hours and hours, but at the end of the day they are nowhere in terms of learning as well as grades. So we need to see what's wrong with those students who are spending a lot of time but they are not performing good. And on the other hand, there are few students who are spending less time but they are giving more positive results. So we need to see that good readers have developed good habits when they read. So this is what we need to understand. What is the major difference between good reader and bad reader? That good readers always follow certain strategies. We call these habits strategies. Strategies help readers understand, connect to, and determine the importance of what they are reading. They also visualize, ask questions about, and read between the lines of what they read. It means that as strategies are important in any field of life, if you are following strategies, there will be more chances to be successful. Same is the case with readers. If readers are following certain strategies, there will be more chances to gain more knowledge in less time. So today we are going to see the reading strategies which can help you to be more focused and to get more in less time. So today we'll discuss 7 very important reading strategies. Number 1, make connections. Number 2, ask questions. Number 3, determine importance. Number 4, infer and predict. Number 5, visualize. Number 6, synthesize. And last but not the least, use fix-up strategies. So we'll see all these strategies in detail through examples. Okay, let's move. Make connections. Making connection. It's very important when we are reading that we need to develop connection with the content which we are reading, right? Now the question arises how to develop those connections. So I'll give you few examples. For example, if you are reading any text, you can make connection to self, text to self. For example, you read any information and you just immediately think that this type of information, this type of event happened in your life as well. So in this way you are going to develop connection with your own self, similar events in your own life. Most of the time when we watch movies or when we read anything, we get these flashbacks that, oh, this and this thing happened in my life as well. So this is how you are developing the connection. Number 2, text to text. Sometimes you are reading books, you are watching movies, television. So what happened while reading the book or watching movies, that there is particular information, there is particular scene, and you start imagining or you start developing the link that you have read this information in some other book as well, maybe in some other form, but some part of that information you have read somewhere in any other book. So in this way you are developing the connection. Similarly, sometimes you are watching movies and there comes a scene and you start thinking, okay, such and such scene was there into that movie as well. So what are you doing at that point? You are developing connection, right? In fact, it just shows that you are too focused, you are understanding, and that's why you are developing the connection. Text to life. Okay, sometimes you read any information which you might have observed around you in your surroundings, maybe happening sometimes with the people around you. So you just start thinking that this type of event or this type of information I have observed somewhere else. So this is how you develop connection at various level. But it's very important for you while reading any type of information that you should develop the connection at any level. You should remember any part of information, anything which you have read related to that information previously. That is another case. That is an exceptional case if the information is absolutely new for you. That is another case. But even then, you can connect that information with the previous information. Okay. While developing connection, you can ask such type of questions like, what do I already know about this? Yes. Has anything similar ever happened to me? How would I feel if this happened to me? So you not only think that such and such type of event I have observed in my life or in the life of the people around me, you also start thinking about the reaction. Okay, if I had been into this situation, how would I have reacted? It just shows the peak of involvement in the text. Can I relate to the characters? Most of the time it happens when we are watching movies or when we are reading any interesting book, that we start relating to the character. Most of the time we start thinking perhaps these and these characteristics of this character resembles my personality, or perhaps such type of characters I have seen somewhere around me. So you are relating various connections with the given information. Does this story remind me of something, right? So in this way you are developing connection. Yes, it's very important for us to develop the connections. Making connection connects yourself strongly with the given material, with the given text. Don't read the material superficially. Don't read it with your passive mind, with half closed eyes. You are just turning the pages. No, don't do it. Be active and connect yourself with the given material. So, connect yourself to the text, go past the obvious. It means that when you get involved into the text, when you start making the connection of the new information with the previous one, it means that there are more chances that you might understand the hidden meaning of that text. You are aware that there are always two meanings. Sometimes obvious meanings are different and the hidden meanings are different. If you connect yourself with the given material, if you are involved while reading the text, it means that there will be more opportunity for you to understand the deeper meaning. Okay, so what does it mean? Yes, can you understand these signs? Yes, you are right. Ask questions while reading. Yes, you need to be very active if you really want to be a good reader. Keep asking questions. What type of question? For example, what don't you get? You are reading something, you should keep asking this question. You should keep thinking what type of information is there which is still unclear to you. You are still unable to understand that piece of information. What do you get overall? What have you learned out of the information? What words don't you understand? Yes, you should also think about all those words which are ambiguous to you. What other question do you have? Is there any question related to the given information in your mind? What do you wonder about as you read? Okay, is there anything which is source of amazement, source of wonder for you? You should think about that as well. But keep asking question. Okay? Don't wander here and there. Why ask question? Why is it necessary to ask question while reading any information? There are solid reasons behind. Number one, asking questions helps keep you focused on the text. The major issue with the reader is that we are not focused while reading any information. Our minds start wandering. We start thinking about diversions. So if we are asking question continuously, it means that we'll be focused on the content. If your mind wanders, you will not understand. Yes, the major drawback with bad reader is that they are not focused. Physically, they might be there with the book, they might have opened few pages, their eyes might be there on the page, but mentally bad readers are not there, right? So asking questions can help you make your mind more active and more focused, and you will not be bored as well. Another problem which most of the time students share with me, that reading is kind of monster for them because they get bored too early. It's just unbearable for them to read anything, and most of the time they read only the textbook, and that too just because of that compulsion to pass through the exam. So this strategy can help you make reading activity more interesting for you. You will not be bored, and you will feel that now reading might become more interesting thing for you. If you run into problems, things you just don't understand, then you can check yourself with the question. Yes, particularly while reading a textbook, if there is any problem, if there is any issue which is still unanswered, so making question and sometimes writing those questions can help you understand which points are still unclear to you, and you can later on consult the reading material again to clear those questions. Let's move towards the next point, the next strategy which can help us to become a good reader, and that is determine importance. Yes, this is again very important thing for us to determine the importance of the text. Pick and choose which details are the most important to remember. Yes, in semester system, being a university student, practically it's not possible for you to read each and every information, to read each and every word, each and every book. No, it's not practically possible for you. So you need to decide that which information is important according to the requirement of the subject. Next, think about what a teacher might ask on a test. Students are mostly confused. How can we decide what is important and what is unimportant? The requirement of your teacher, what can help you define important and unimportant. You need to understand the psychology of your teacher. You need to understand which points are being emphasized by your teacher. So it means that those issues, those points are more important, and you need to give more attention to those topics and that part of information. Here I'm not saying that you should skip all the rest of the information and rest of the book, rest of the text. No, I'm not saying that. What I mean here, that you are not going to read each and every piece of information in detail. You can skim through rest of the information, you can, in order to get the overall idea. But if there is something which is very important, you need to go for detailed reading in order to absorb that information completely. What happens that students keep giving more time to the irrelevant information, to the unimportant information, and they don't give sufficient time to the information which is really important and which demands attention from them. So you need to decide that what is the level of that information, and accordingly how much importance and how much time is to be given to that text. Think about what the author hints might be important later on, right? You can read the headings, the subheadings, in order to decide what is important and what is unimportant. You don't need to read all the book for that. No, just take the preview of all the book, read the headings and the subheadings, and later on you can decide that okay, this part of the information is important and it needs to be given more time. Why determine importance? Anything you read contains a lot of information. You cannot remember everything. By deciding what is important, you don't have to remember everything. Practically, it's not possible for you to remember all the information which you read. You can prioritize the information you need in order to understand. So you need to set the priorities, and accordingly you need to give the time to the text. Okay, more time to the important information, and only skimming, only taking the general view, the overall view of the information which is less important. Okay, the next strategy, and what it is: infer and predict. Yes, a good reader is always good at inference and prediction. So what happens in these strategies? Yes, good readers are like detectives. You know very well what is the job of detectives. They use clues to determine what is happening in a story. They don't ignore the trivial clues. They take help from various hints in order to reach any point, in order to solve any case, and this is called inference. A good reader actually does the same. A good reader takes help from the clues, from the hints, in order to get the overall understanding of the text. Yes. Okay. Good readers also make educated guesses about what may happen later in the story. So educated guess is very important. You are supposed to make educated guess at word level. If any word is new, you are not supposed to consult dictionary at each and every new word. Practically, you don't have time to do this. So what you can do, you can make an educated guess of that word, keeping the context in which that word has been used. One thing. Second, if there is any information which is unclear to you, if there is any sentence which is confusing to you, you don't need to be worried. You just take help from the context, and accordingly you can make an educated guess, and you can infer and predict the meaning of that sentence rather than leaving the text at all. They use the author's hints to predict what will most likely occur, right? So you are supposed to infer and predict all the time when you are reading. Okay. You can ask various questions to yourself while being in this process to infer and predict. What isn't stated that I have figured out? Okay. Is there anything which you have understood already but it has not been explained by the author? It means you are really good at prediction. What do I predict will happen? What are you predicting? What would happen next? Why do I think so? What is the logic behind due to which you are predicting certain type of information? So this thing will help you keep focused on the text, and there will be less chances to wander here and there in terms of your concentration. Okay. How can you be good at prediction? Knowledge plus text. Knowledge means your previous knowledge. Your previous knowledge related to the present text. If you have good level of knowledge, it means that you will be good at inference. Mostly it happens that when we give any text or any information to the students, all of them would interpret it in different way. All of them will have different level of understanding. Why would it happen? It happens just because of their previous knowledge, right? Some of the students might have very good level of knowledge, and that's why they are very good at understanding, at predicting the meaning of that text. So you need to increase your knowledge related to the particular field in which you are studying. Okay, let's move towards the next strategy, and that is visualization. Yes, you might be thinking, what's the role of visualization in reading skill? And I am telling you that visualization plays a very, very important role in making you a good reader. How? Let's see. Picture in your mind the images the author creates with his or her words. Whatever you are reading, it doesn't matter what is your field. You are a computer sciences student, you are a management sciences student, you are a civil engineering student, whatever your field is, when you are reading any information, just visualize that information. No matter whether you are reading about the machine, about coding, about any management theory, there is no restriction, but just visualize that information into your mind. Pay close attention to sensory details. For example, if you were there, what would you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel? Just make a picture of that information into your mind, and believe me, you are not going to forget that information for a longer time, right? On the other hand, if you don't visualize information, there are high chances that after some time you will forget the information. Okay, why to visualize? If you don't picture the events of the story, you will get bored. The most important thing and the most frustrating thing for the reader, that we get bored. We get bored with the text. So if you visualize the information, you will find it more entertaining. You will find it more interesting. The author's job is to paint pictures in the reader's mind. The reader's job is to visualize what the author described. It doesn't matter whether you are reading a novel or it's a textbook. This power of imagination is in your hand, and you need to use this power. Fine? Why not? Yes, there is no reason that you should not visualize the information, right? Intentionally, you should put yourself into this effort to visualize the information, because in this way, the information is going to be into your long-term memory. Okay, synthesize I think second last strategy which we are going to discuss is synthesize. Is a fancy way of saying that you must bring everything together in the end. In other words, what is the meaning of what you are reading? For example, if you have read 5 to 7 pages or 10 pages, after that you are not going to close the book at that point. No. After reading few pages, now you are going to sum up all the information which you have read. You have to bring all the pieces of information together in order to understand what was the overall learning. Okay. Ask yourself such type of questions. For example, what does it all mean? Whatever you have read, what was meant by that? What is the big idea? What was the overall idea conveyed through that particular text? Are there questions still left unanswered? Yes, if there is anything still confusing, still ambiguous, you need to think about that. What are the lessons I should learn? Is there anything you have learned out of that information? What do I think about this book? Yes, what is your overall point of view, opinion about the information which you have read? So don't run away without thinking these questions. Let's move towards the next strategy, and that is use fix-up strategies. Make sure you are understanding what you are reading. Yes. Basic purpose of reading is to make you understand that information. When you run into trouble, you just don't get it. Use little correction strategies to help you figure out what went wrong, if there is anything confusing, if there is anything unanswered, if there are certain concepts which were really difficult for you. It means that now you need to follow certain fix-up strategies in order to get the answer of those ambiguous questions or concepts. We call these methods as fix-up strategies. It means that all those strategies which you follow in order to get the answer of your confusion, they are called fix-up strategies. Okay. Here are some examples of fix-up strategies. Like some of the psychologists say that you should reread the material. Keep reading the material unless you get the complete understanding, or you can underline the information and later you can consult any other person, or you can take help of any other source in order to get the clarity of that point. Use a dictionary. Yes, it's quite old and outdated, but you can use electronic dictionary or anything according to your own convenience. Read aloud. Yes, reading any information aloud can help you clear the confusions. Ask for help. You can take help from your teachers, from your seniors, from your friends. You should not be ashamed to take help from the people around you. Okay. Why using strategies? I think until this point you must have learned that strategies are important. Strategies create a plan of attack. Then you can solve any reading problems yourself. As you need strategies in your life in order to be successful, similarly, in order to be a successful reader, you need to follow the strategies. Without strategies, it's practically not possible for you to be a good reader or to be a good learner. You need to follow certain strategies. Strategies help you learn how to understand. If you know how to understand, then you are more likely to understand. So strategies help you how to learn in a proper way. And how to learn in a proper way, obviously it leads towards the proper understanding. Strategies help you realize how you are thinking so that you can think more deeply and more consciously. Remember, you may be using some or all of these strategies already. You just may not know it. However, as you learn to read more complicated materials, you will need to use these strategies purposefully, right? It's not necessary that you might use all these strategies. You can use any 1, 2, 3 according to the requirement. But the thing is that your reading should not be without strategies. Strategies should always be there to be followed by you. And ultimately, in the end, practice, and a lot of practice. The way all the skills, be it cooking, stitching, driving, take any of the skill on the world, you know very well that you learn the skills through practice. Similarly, if I am here to tell you the theory, to tell you the strategies, it doesn't mean that it will make you a good reader. At the end of the day, it's your personal responsibility to be a dedicated learner and a dedicated reader, and practice a lot. Only practice makes you perfect. So practice, and a lot of practice. Thank you so much for being with me. See you in the next lecture with some other good topic. Until then, bye.